All right, so you landed an HR officer interview. Congrats. Getting ready for the big day. Well, we're diving deep into some common questions today using excerpts from, get this, 11 plus proven HR officer interview questions plus answers.
Ah, good stuff.
Should give you a real edge.
Yeah.
HR is kind of a big deal.
Right.
They're like the backbone of a company, making sure everything runs smoothly, from hiring to, well, all those policies. So let's make sure you really shine. We're going to uncover what those hiring managers are really looking for, and we'll even throw in some insider tips to help you stand out from the crowd. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay, let's start by tackling those operational and situational questions. The first one is a classic. Describe the recruitment life cycle. How can you support the process end to end?
Yeah, this is where you really show, that you're not just familiar with all the steps, but that you understand the strategy behind each one.
Oh, I like that.
It's like weaving a tapestry. You're attracting the right talent, screening efficiently, making a great offer, and then making sure that onboarding experience is smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Each thread is essential to that final picture.
So it's about, showing that you understand the why behind each step and not just like rattling off the steps themselves.
Exactly.
What stands out to you about the next question? What are the most important company policies we should implement? This feels like a chance to showcase some real forward thinking. Right.
Absolutely. It's all about showing your knowledge of policies that make sure everything's legal, of course,
Right.
but also that you are creating a work environment that thrives.
I like that.
For example, you could advocate for unlimited PTO.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it shows trust in your employees,
Mm-hmm.
and it can actually lead to greater productivity and morale.
Interesting. So it's about, it's not just about knowing the policies, it's about understanding their impact on the company culture.
Yeah.
Now, this next one is a bit trickier. Give a specific example of a policy you don't agree with. What are the nuances of this question that someone should be aware of?
It's a test.
Okay,
They want to see your diplomacy and critical thinking skills.
gotcha.
And the key is to choose your example very, very carefully. Don't pick something really controversial.
Right?
Instead, maybe discuss a policy that, while it's probably well-intentioned, it could be improved.
Yeah.
For instance, you could talk about the dress code policy. Maybe it unintentionally limits self-expression,
Okay.
and, it could benefit from being a little more inclusive. Focus on presenting a really constructive alternative, that demonstrates that you understand the bigger picture.
So it's about showcasing your ability to analyze and improve, not just complain.
Exactly.
Now, let's be honest, HR involves a lot of repetitive tasks.
It does.
How do you stay motivated while handling these tasks without sounding like you'd be bored out of your mind?
It's all about highlighting the strengths that thrive in that kind of environment. You want to emphasize your meticulousness, your love for accuracy, your organizational skills.
Right.
You could even mention that, those tasks, while routine, are crucial for maintaining employee satisfaction and, of course, smooth operations.
Okay. So it's about seeing the value in those tasks, even if they're not, the most glamorous. Confidentiality is another huge aspect of HR.
Oh, yeah.
The article mentions, what do you define as employee confidential information? If a coworker initiated a discussion about confidential information, what would you do?
How would you approach this question in a way that highlights your ethical stance?
You want to demonstrate a very, very clear understanding of what's considered confidential.
Mm-hmm.
Salaries, performance reviews, health data, anything sensitive.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to show that you would handle breaches professionally.
So, lightly reminding your coworker about confidentiality.
Yeah.
And then, if you need to, escalate the issue to your supervisor. Shows you take data protection seriously.
Yeah. It's about showing you're proactive and responsible when it comes to, sensitive information. This next question seems fun. What perks and benefits would you suggest to improve employee engagement? This is where you get to show your understanding of what motivates people, right?
It's not just about trendy perks.
Right.
It's about aligning those benefits with the company's culture. You could suggest professional development stipends, showing you value employee growth.
Right.
Or even a mentorship program to foster connections.
I like that.
Yeah.
So it's about demonstrating that you can think strategically about employee needs and company culture.
For sure.
Now, this question is incredibly relevant today. How do you define company culture? What changes would you implement to adjust to a diverse team? What are some key points to hit here?
You need to show that you understand that a thriving company culture embraces diverse perspectives,
Yeah.
and creates a sense of belonging for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You could suggest diversity and inclusion training programs
Okay.
to increase awareness and understanding, or you could propose employee resource groups where people with, shared backgrounds or interests can connect
Yeah, yeah.
and support each other.
So it's about going beyond just acknowledging diversity and actually offering concrete actions to foster it.
Exactly.
Okay, last one for this section. Are you familiar with HR software? Mention any tools you've previously used. I imagine this is pretty crucial in our, digital age, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
HR technology is essential these days.
Right.
But don't just name drop software.
Okay.
Describe how you've used specific platforms, like an applicant tracking system for streamlining recruitment or a performance management tool for conducting effective reviews.
Hmm. So it's about proving that you can leverage technology to improve HR processes. Okay, we've tackled some of those operational and situational questions. Now, let's move on to the more personal side, those behavioral questions, in the next part of our deep dive. Okay, so we're back and ready to tackle those behavioral questions. These can be a bit more challenging,
Yeah,
They're all about you and your experiences. It's like storytelling,
Right.
but with a purpose.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
They want to see how you've handled those real life situations, how you think on your feet, and what kind of personality you bring to the team.
So let's jump right into a question that often makes people, well, nervous. What has been the most stressful situation you have ever found yourself in at work? What are some tips for choosing the right situation to talk about?
The key is to pick something relevant to the HR officer role.
Okay.
Don't just go for the biggest drama.
Yep.
Think about a time when you had to navigate a conflict, maybe mediate between team members, or deal with a complex issue where you had to really think outside the box.
Okay. So it's not about choosing the most stressful story,
Right.
the most insightful one.
Exactly.
What about the question, tell me about a time when you had to work on a team with someone you did not get along with? Ooh, this feels like it's testing your ability to navigate those tricky interpersonal dynamics.
Oh, it absolutely is. I mean, everyone has had to work with someone they didn't quite click with at some point.
Right.
The key here is to avoid bad-mouthing that other person. Instead, focus on the steps you took to make the collaboration work.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you communicate openly? Did you try to find that common ground? Did you just focus on the shared goal?
Yeah.
These things demonstrate your maturity and professionalism.
Okay, so it's about highlighting your ability to find solutions and work effectively even when things aren't, perfect. Building on that idea, let's consider how you'd handle the question. Describe a situation where you had to resolve a conflict between coworkers. Seems like this is all about showcasing your, mediation skills.
Yeah, that's a great point. Conflict resolution is a big, big part of HR. So choose a specific example that highlights your ability to handle these situations, fairly and effectively. You want to walk them through what happened, explain how you gathered information from both sides involved, and then outline the steps you took to help them find a resolution.
It's about showing you can be that, that calm, mediating voice of reason. I actually had to do that once.
Yeah.
2 colleagues were like clashing over a project deadline. So I took the time to listen to each person's concerns, help them find a compromise, and ultimately they were able to work together successfully.
That's great.
It's amazing what open communication and a bit of empathy can achieve,
I love that. Yeah, that's a fantastic example. It highlights those core skills needed for successful conflict resolution. So, aside from specific situations, they'll also be looking at your broader approach to work. So how would you answer something like, how do you stay organized and manage your time effectively, especially when you're juggling multiple tasks?
That's a great question. It's about showing that you have systems in place to stay on top of things. Maybe you could talk about how you love those to-do lists, your color-coded calendar system, or your ability to prioritize tasks effectively.
Exactly. Highlight those organizational skills that keep you focused and productive, even when things get a bit hectic. You can even mention a specific time management technique you use, like that Pomodoro technique or time blocking,
Yeah.
to show you're actively finding ways to improve your workflow.
So it's not just about saying you're organized, it's about proving it with, tangible examples.
Exactly.
Another question that often comes up is, how do you handle constructive criticism? This feels like they're testing your ability to, learn and grow.
Absolutely. They want to see if you're open to feedback and actually use it to improve. Share an example of a time when you got some constructive criticism, how you approached it, and what you learned from that experience.
It's about showing that growth mindset, that willingness to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about leadership. Even if it isn't a management position, they'll still want to see some leadership potential.
Right.
How would you answer a question like, tell me about a time you took initiative and went above and beyond your regular duties?
This is your time to shine. Think of a time when you saw a problem or an opportunity and you took the lead to address it. Maybe you spearheaded a new project, volunteered for a challenging task, or came up with a super innovative solution to a problem.
Yeah, it's about showcasing your, proactive nature and willingness to contribute beyond just the bare minimum. All right, one last question for this section. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends and developments in HR? This field is constantly evolving, so it's important to show you're committed to, like, continuous learning.
You got it. Mention any professional organizations you belong to, HR blogs or podcasts you follow, or any industry conferences you've attended. You could even mention a recent book or article that gave you some valuable insights.
It's about showing a genuine interest in the field and a commitment to staying ahead of the curve. I think we've covered a lot of ground with these behavioral questions. But there's one final piece of the puzzle we need to address, that all-important element of confidence. And we're back for the final part of our HR officer interview deep dive.
Right.
We've covered so much. From those really specific operational questions, those like, tell me about a time scenarios, those can really make or break an interview.
Oh, yeah.
But there's one last piece of advice.
Right. Like it's really crucial. And that's confidence.
Oh, you're absolutely right. We can give all the tips and tools in the world.
Right.
But honestly, it's your belief in yourself that will really shine through. It's about knowing your worth, showcasing your strengths, and just being authentically you.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's not about pretending to be someone you're not.
Right.
It's about letting your, genuine enthusiasm and expertise shine through. What would you say to someone who's struggling with pre-interview jitters? I'd remind them that, every interview is a learning experience,
Okay.
regardless of the outcome,
Yeah.
Each conversation is a chance to refine your skills, articulate your value, and connect with potential employers. Even if it doesn't lead to your dream job, the experience itself is valuable.
So true. It's about shifting your perspective from like, I hope they like me, to I'm excited to, share my knowledge and learn from this.
Right.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a little visualization exercise.
Oh, I love that.
Visualization is super powerful.
It is.
Okay, everyone close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself, walking into that interview room. You're well prepared, you've got all this deep dive knowledge, and you're ready to showcase your passion for HR. You can feel that confidence just radiating from you.
Yes. Hold on to that feeling.
Yeah.
That's the energy that you want to bring to every interview.
And remember, you've got this. You've put in the work, you've honed your skills, and you're ready to take on the HR world. Go out there and shine.
Absolutely.
That's such a perfect note to end on.
Yeah.
We're so excited for you and your HR journey. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.